Hello everybody and welcome to the first installment of the reviews, where I will be reviewing different bugs and different bug products for you guys. Now today the kind people at Bug Frenzy have sent me through a whole ton of stuff to review for you guys. So today we'll be covering some scorpions and some scorpion setups, and even some peacock jumping spiders and peacock jumping spider setups as well. So I just want to say a big thank you to the people at Bug Frenzy for sending me all this amazing stuff. Without further ado, let's get on to the reviews. Okay, and welcome back to review number 1, and today we're going to be looking at the Spider Hunting Scorpion Kit. Now, this kit is for spider hunting scorpions and other desert scorpions. Works perfectly fine for most desert scorpions. Alright, so in this kit you get 4 fake plants, a nice layer of red desert sand as substrate, and a dish which is a plastic cap with some scorer rocks. Now, as you might be able to see here, I have filled up that dish with water so that the scorpion can have a drink if he feels thirsty. Now, the reason why we have the rocks in this enclosure is simply just so the scorpion doesn't drown, especially with these spider hunting scorpions. You know, all scorpions are just known notoriously for accidentally drowning in water dishes and stuff. So that's why we have that here, and I have a quick montage on how I set this enclosure up. So let's roll that montage. Enjoyed that montage, a quick montage actually. And now it is time to put our spider hunting scorpion in his new enclosure. Here is our spider hunting scorpion. Quite a beautiful scorpion. These ones are actually my favorite ones. So let's try and coax him out of here to his new enclosure. Always remember to be gentle when putting invertebrates in their new enclosures, simply because they still can be quite fragile animals. So, as the name suggests, this scorpion does hunt spiders, but I highly recommend against going out and getting spiders for it. It's really not a good idea because spiders could have pesticides and all that sort of thing. So it's better just to buy either roaches or crickets or even mealworms if you really wanted to from local pet store chains, or even Bug Frenzy themselves sell feeder roaches and feeder crickets. They sell starter colonies of that. So if you want to, hop onto their website www.bugfrenzy.com.au and go get yourselves one of these kits and one of these beautiful scorpions, and also go get yourself some feeder roaches or feeder crickets, or you know, a colony of those guys. But yeah, I just highly recommend against going out and catching bugs from the wild to feed to them, because you have no idea what diseases or pesticides you could bring in, and they could kill your invertebrates, and we do not want that to happen. So yeah, this is a wonderful setup. These scorpions are moderately easy to keep, so as long as you have all the right things, your scorpion should be fine. Okay, and so with saying that, let's move on to the second review. Okay guys, and welcome back to review number 2. Now for review number 2, we're going to be looking at the Juvenile Flinders Rangers Scorpion Kit. Now in this kit you get a custom bug frenzy tub, piece of bark, nice sizable piece of bark, and a layer of custom bug frenzy substrate. Now you also get a lid with 2 lines of ventilation holes drilled in it, just to make sure that this enclosure doesn't humidify too much up. Now I've put together a short montage, again like the previous one, of how I put this enclosure together. So let's roll that montage. Okay, I hope you enjoyed that montage. Now, let's just go over some of the other things you get with this kit. So, in this kit, you get all this stuff, and Bug Frenzy will send you, in this kit, a set of your very own stainless steel tongs to pick up your scorpion with. Quite a cool accessory to get with your scorpions. Also a very important one, because you never want to get nipped by these guys, or even stung. It still hurts even though they're not that venomous. Alright, the other thing you get is your own little UV keychain light that works on scorpions. Obviously it's not going to work right now because I have all the surrounding light and all that. But this does work, trust me, I've used it at night to look at all my other scorpions. It is very good. Alright, so without further ado, let's put our new scorpion friend in his enclosure. This is a juvenile Flinders Ranger scorpion, a suspected male, not guaranteed though. Now with these species, they are the 3rd largest species in Australia. Males reaching 14 centimeters. Females a bit shorter than that, 12 to 9 centimeters. So this is a pretty good scorpion to keep. It's quite a popular one. As you can tell, it's quite an easy setup. You just need to keep it moist, which brings me to actually another thing I forgot was this. You also get this with your kit. It's a bug frenzy spray bottle, and you just use it to mist one side of the enclosure to keep your scorpion happy. Make sure he does not dry out too much and get too dehydrated. So there we go. There are 2 species that are bigger than this one, but none of them are allowed in the pet trade at the moment. So right now this is the largest species of scorpion available in the pet trade. I highly recommend getting this kit from Bug Frenzy. Again, it's a nice easy setup, and if you're looking for something to feed these guys, I recommend, again like the spider hunting one, go get some crickets or roaches from a local pet retailer, or go buy them off bugfrenzy.com.au. Okay, so let's move on to the next review. Hi guys, and welcome back to review number 3. Now this is the first review that we're going to be looking at peacock jumping spiders with. Now here we have a small bug box, not a regular bug box or a tall bug box. So this is a small one, and in it we have a decent layer of sand, some bark, 2 fake plants, and a shellless water dish with 2 pieces of scorer. Now, I've put together again a short video of me putting this enclosure together, so let's roll that. Okay, and I hope you enjoyed that short video. So here is a spider that they have sent to me to go in this enclosure, and this is a coastal peacock jumping spider, Muratus speciosus. So this spider comes from the sand dunes close to the beaches in Perth. It's quite commonly spread across the suburbs in Perth close to the beach, and they hang out on coastal onion grass and coastal sea spinach. Now, this enclosure here replicates that exact environment perfectly for them. So if you're going to get one of these peacock jumping spiders, I I cannot stress to you enough, you should get one of these setups, because this is a great setup to keep these guys in, and yeah, it's just great. So it's got the fine white sand, and during the night these guys will actually bury themselves under the sand to sleep. So if you notice that they disappear during the night, chances are they probably haven't escaped, and that they've just buried themselves under the sand, and that the following morning you'll see him above ground, you know, being his normal jumpy self. So without further ado, let's put our new jumping spider in his new enclosure. Now, this is what they call a comfy cup. This is where they've hot glue gunned mesh to the side of the enclosure, with a bit of sphagnum moss in the middle, and they put a bit of paper towel and paper in the center, just to keep the spider safe from shipping. So I'm just going to take pieces of paper out. Just remember to be careful with their peacock jumping spiders, because they are still fragile animals. There he goes. So it's probably a little bit hard to see him at the moment. He'd probably only be a speck. So I have filmed some more close-up footage of him, and let's roll that footage. Okay, and I hope you enjoyed that footage. So if you're wanting to know what to feed these guys, I feed all of my peacock jumping spiders teeny sized crickets. You can purchase them at big pet store retailers local to your area, or you can purchase them online on Bug Frenzy's website. Again, either way, it's whatever you want to do across with all these bugs. So that wraps up our review number 3. So let's move on to review number 4. Okay guys, and welcome to review number 4, where we're going to be taking a look at a regular jumping spider setup, not a beach jumping spider setup. This is a regular one. So here we have a regular bug box, and inside it we have a piece of bark, 2 fake plants, and a water dish, which is a shell with 2 pieces of scorer in it. Now, the jumping spider that they have sent with me to review with this kit is Muratus pavonius, or the green-tailed peacock jumping spider. This is the WA form, West Australian form. There are many other different forms across Australia, but this is the one from Western Australia. So, this is a bug box, as you can see here. It's a regular bug box. Unfortunately, I didn't get any footage for setting this enclosure up, simply because there was a lot of unfortunate events and background music and all that sort of stuff, and I had to scrap the footage. So unfortunately I don't have that, but I can run you through how I did it. It came with a bag of cocoa fiber, so I set it up along the bottom here, just flattened it out, put the water dish in one corner here with the 2 rocks in it, and put a little bit of water in there, and I just set up the fake plants on either side of the enclosure and put the piece of bark running across on a diagonal angle in the middle. So yeah, it's a very basic setup, and to be honest, I didn't even really need the footage of how to set it up. But anyway, here we go. This is our Muratus pavonius, and I'm going to pop him in his new enclosure. So again, this is what they call a comfy cup. All jumping spiders are shipped in these comfy cups to ensure their safety during transit. Now, it's probably a bit hard to see him here, he's only a little speck. So I have filmed some closer footage, and let's Okay, and welcome back. I hope you enjoyed that closer footage I took for you. Now, let's move on to care for this guy. So, you want to mist his enclosure 1 or 2 times a week, that's it. And you also want to feed him a pinhead cricket every 1 to 2 days. These guys really have a big appetite and will eat every single day, if need be. I don't think you should feed them every single day. Just feed them, every 2, even every 3 days if you wanted to. But don't leave it too long, because you don't want to leave them without food too long. You could accidentally starve them or kill them. Again, what to feed them: you purchase pinhead crickets from a local pet store or from Bug Frenzy. So please go ahead, go to Bug Frenzy's website, check out these kits and these spiders, and pick up some feeder insects for yourself as well if you want some feeder insects. Alright, without further ado, let's move on to the final review. Okay, and welcome back to the final installment of this review. So, here we have a Komodo Nano kit. This one is a false bottom one. So, it's a false bottom setup for scorpions that need a false bottom setup. Now, I have filmed some footage of me making this enclosure, so I'm just going to roll that footage straight away, and then we're going to elaborate a bit on how this all works in these habitats. So, there we go. That is our little nano habitat. There's the lid. It's made out of a nice metal mesh. Its packaging. Alright, you might take all this bubble wrap off the sides as well. Again, I'm being super careful when taking all this off, because you don't want to scratch the glass. Alrighty, so in this kit you'll get some spawner, cocoa fiber, a pipe, PVC pipe, some mesh. Now, this is a false bottom setup. This is what we're going to be doing, a false bottom setup for one of our new scorpions. Eurodacus, yes, Kenkoi, or the desert scorpion. This is his tail. So, without further ado, let me show you how to properly do a false bottom setup, because a common misconception with these desert scorpions, unfortunately, is a lot of people don't know how to look after them properly, and they are very sensitive. Like, they are super sensitive to how you look after them. But if you use a false bottom setup in one of these nano kits, it's perfectly fine. You shouldn't have any trouble with them at all. So, to begin with, what we're going to do is put a layer of our spawner on the bottom of the enclosure. Go. Smooth it out a bit. So that's the spawner. Now on top of that, we're creating a drainage layer basically. We're going to add our mesh. Alrighty. So this is our layer of mesh. I might actually just chop it a little bit more. So it fits a little bit better. Because I don't want a heap of overlap. Alrighty. Still a little bit of overlap, so I'm going to cut a little bit off the side too. Alrighty, so here we go. So the idea of this really is to put a pipe like this on the side, and when you put water in it, you know, the water disperses down here, the moisture comes up, and it basically keeps the same moisture levels of the sand as what it would be in the wild. That's the main goal of having a false bottom setup, is to replicate exactly how burrowing species of scorpion like Kenkoi live. Now, a common name for this one is a spiral burrow, because in the wild they create 1 to 2 meter deep spiral burrows. Now obviously we can't really replicate this here, you know, have a 1 meter deep enclosure. It's a bit unethical and very hard to do, so having small setups like these is a lot easier, a lot more affordable, and a lot more smaller, so you can fit it into your everyday household. Okay, so just smoothing the sand out a bit. Like so. Another element to this is slightly moistened desert sand. I've got the desert sand and I've moistened it up, or hydrated it a bit. So now we're just going to be adding the sand. Alright, so there's all of our sand. Now we're just going to compact it down a bit. So this is our Nano Habitat, and you can choose, you can customize the top with whatever decorations you like, so bark, some reeds, some straw. So I've gone out and I've gotten myself some pieces of bark I'm going to put in. Put this one just like that. Okay, I hope you enjoyed that footage, and now let's elaborate on how this works. So, as you probably saw, I put a layer of rocks at the bottom. It's a scorer rock. It's the volcanic rock that is very porous and accepts a lot of water. So on top of that I put a layer of mesh. Now the mesh that I got with my kit was just a little bit too long for my liking, so I just trimmed it down to size. Now when you're doing this, be very careful not to trim it too far back if it is too long. Okay, just please don't trim it too far back or you're gonna mess up the whole setup. So just leave it so it's got a little bit of overlap over the rocks. That's all you want. So I also, on top of that, have a layer of cocoa fiber and then a big layer of red desert sand. Now before I put the cocoa fiber and sand on, I placed this PVC pipe that came with the kit down the back end of my enclosure, one of the sides of the back end of my enclosure. Now the way this works is you're trying to replicate how it is for them in the wild. So when you put water in here, it flows all the way to the bottom to where the rocks are, and then what you do is when it starts to heat up a little bit, the water evaporates and the moisture content of the soil is given in certain levels. So the closer the soil is to the base, the more water it has in it. So the more you get to the top, the more drier it is, and the more you go down, the more wetter it is. Now for these scorpions, that's key because they are pretty fiddly and pretty hard to look after. So if you have a false bottom setup that exactly replicates how it is for them in the wild, It's perfect. That's exactly what you want. And you're guaranteed to keep these guys alive for quite a while. So, if your scorpion does die, then it is because you've either not set it up correctly, or you've done something wrong, because this setup is perfect and it's been designed specifically to house this kind of scorpion. That's the whole purpose of this setup, is just to house this kind of scorpion. Now, wonderful people at Bug Frenzy have sent me one of these scorpions, and I put him in his new enclosure last night, and I came back this morning and he's constructed a burrow. Starts on this side of the enclosure and spirals round into the middle. So unfortunately I can't show you him right now. So I hope you enjoyed the footage. That was the red desert scorpion, scientific name Urodacus yiskenkoi. You can find them on Bug Frenzy's website as well for $44. Now, in this enclosure I've just added a bit of bark. You don't need to add bark to this enclosure. I just added it for decoration, really. The other thing this enclosure comes with is a metal mesh lid. It's a metal fly screen, I'm pretty sure, and it's got a clip lock at the front, so when you slide it in like so, it locks in. You can't remove the lid, it's firm in place. So this enclosure and this setup is great. It is perfect for this kind of scorpion, and you can use it for just about any other thing that they sell on their website. These Komodo Nano enclosures are really awesome. They are very great enclosures. The only thing to watch out for is when Australia Post, when they ship these out via Australia Post, even though they put in a lot of protective measures to try and keep these enclosures protected, sometimes they do get smashed up a bit. That is the unfortunate part with these guys. They are glass, so they can get smashed up in the mail. That is very unfortunate, though luckily my one seemed to get here all fine in one piece. So that is just one thing to watch out for when ordering these enclosures. Just be mindful that they could turn up with cracks in them, and it's not a fault on Bug Frenzy's part. It's a fault on Australia Post part. When shipping your parcel, they need to be a little bit more careful of when handling them. So without further ado, this is our final review for tonight. I just want to thank all of you for watching. Make sure that you subscribe to Bug Frenzy. I also ask that if you have any questions, you just put them in the comments down below. Just feel free to ask Bug Frenzy about any things that you don't understand about this video. And I just ask that you all have a blessed and beautiful day. I'd just like to once again thank Bug Frenzy who supplied all this stuff for me to review for you guys today. It's been a real honor to be able to do this for you guys. So thank you very much for watching. Have a blessed week, blessed day. I'll see you hopefully in the next review. Bye bye.